All right, Janay Harding is back on Corner Talk right now, headlining, main eventing, Beatdown Promotions this Saturday against Jamie Edenden, who's another big Aussie talent that has popped on the scene. And so, Janay, like, what are your thoughts, like being back in Australia, like having an event in Australia right now and headlining it?
Yeah, I mean, this week itself has just been phenomenal. Just so nice to be back. Queensland's where I grew up, so I've spent majority of this week in the Gold Coast, and then tomorrow we'll head up to Brisbane, which is only like an hour drive. A lot of people don't realize how close that is, and basically just being around all my friends and family has just been like so spiritually fulfilling and so awesome just for a change. Usually I'm on the other side of the world in like enemy territory and not really knowing where I am or what like where to get food and all these basic things, but I'm just driving around like it's my local and that in itself has just been a dream.
Yeah, but for someone who loves to travel so much, like, do you suddenly feel that it might be good to stay grounded at the moment during fight camp, like around where you are, where you
Abs-
grew up? Yeah.
yeah, and just with that familiarity, like gyms that I know and people that I know and like pad holders and that kind of thing, being able to share the card with other people from my gym, like as like a lot of people know there's not a lot of Oceania talent signed to Bellator and that kind of thing. So a lot of the time I've just seen people over in these fight cards that I've kind of like bumped into or known, but not really known like that well. Whereas like these are all my people. I know the coaches, I know the other gyms that are here, I know the promoters, I know the referees, I know the
Hmm.
everything. Like it's all super familiar territory, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah. So even though you're fighting another hometown girl, it's like, it's still like, oh, this is more home than it's ever been at Bellator or something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like yeah, she's kind of from the north of Brisbane, I'm kind of from the south of Brisbane, and we're sort of meeting in the middle. So it's not really anyone's territory in a sense. It's South and Queensland representing MMA, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and you've been a pioneer of MMA there, especially for the women. And I forgot to mention that this fight is free on YouTube, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it should be. Should get the stream link by the end of the day, but yeah, that's the plan. That was what I was told.
and it looks good. It looks like it's a growing promotion. What can you tell us about it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's definitely growing. It's this is its fifth installment of Beatdown Promotions. It's a great venue. The promoter Damian Brown is a ex Rise and ex UFC and just an absolute veteran of the sport. So it's like he has that background understanding of what fighters want, fighters need, and he works with us on an even playing field without that sort of politics, I guess, which I really, really enjoy. He puts on great matchups and makes great cards that benefit both him and the people on it. So I really like that. I was lucky enough to commentate the last beatdown, and it was absolute bangers start to finish, to be honest, which was fantastic. Because you never know. I want to see MMA's MMA, so you never know if the matchups are going to turn up or not. But they really did, and it was just cool to see the atmosphere, the venue, and the little details that he's put into. So even though it's up and coming, he's already had people like Justin Tuffler and Elliot Compton and high level names on it and flying in overseas opponents, which is a big change just for a new promotion, just going from the get go being professional and getting it done right.
Yeah, because the heat's behind them. Like the competition is there, so it's better to like get hot right off the gate, I feel like. And they've been doing well with the
100%.
media thing too. All the clips and everything they've been putting
Yeah,
out, yeah. So,
I love that. From my
yeah,
perspective, I love looking at sales marketing is important and they do it well.
it is. No, I noticed, like, I feel like that's your domain, like it made sense that you're with them right now.
Yeah.
So, I was at your last fight in Dublin, the last fight at Bellator, and what what were your feelings afterwards? Like, because I feel like you could have won that, but you were in enemy territory. It was tough. Obviously, it's still Sinead Kavanagh, so still another very tough opponent. But what were your feelings afterwards, and sort of the process that led you to where you are now with this fight?
Yeah, obviously a little upset I didn't come away with the win. I definitely thought I did enough, and my team thought we did enough. And that's just how the game goes. I mean, you can say that as many times as you want, don't leave it in the judge's hands, all of those excuses. But I mean, fighting's fighting, and I did what I believe I was meant to do to win. I think I did a lot more. So therefore I was a little bit salty, especially just because it was the last fight of my contract, and therefore it may be different in the trajectory of my career. But now that it's sort of all been processed, as much as like I still sort of believe that I won the fight, it doesn't sort of make any difference. And it's either way, it's out of my control. And now we're in this new position here to fight back on the regional scene and work with promoters like Damien and in familiar territory. So I'm just seeing the positive of it. I'm seeing the positive of that last fight, especially all the growth that I've made. Being at my new gym at City Kickboxing has been just phenomenal for me. Best move I've ever made. So much growth in such a short amount of time. It feels like I've been there for years, and haven't even done a full year there yet. Like it's still I think I'm on 10 months or something crazy.
Yeah.
My body's changed, my it's changed, my cuts changed, you know, like I haven't looked at one food porn video this whole camp, which is
That's a
insane.
big, yeah,
And
that's a big.
and it's Wednesday, so I've got 2 more days. I've got less than 48 hours until fight, to weigh in, and I still haven't watched the food porn video. So that in itself, I'm just super happy. I'm happy to be home in New Zealand. I'm in a really good place personally, and
Mhm.
so as much as you know that last fight didn't go my way, I'm not really like holding animosity towards it, and I'm just looking at the positives of these new opportunities and where it will next take me.
It's awesome, and it feels like. Do you feel like your weight right now is closer than it was the same amount of days out from the last fight? Like, so the weight cut's going smoother, or
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's almost like I think I'll probably be tracking the same. I'm pretty sure from what I've looked at. And I mean, the last one was easy, not easy, but a lot easier as well, just because I was at City Kickboxing as well. But it's almost like I'm not stressing about it. I'm not even like trying to overly kind of control everything and
hmm,
worry about things too much. It's out of my control, and you know, this is where I'm at. So I'm just happy with that. Like I'm not trying to push anything. And it's good. It's just good, and my body's in good condition and I feel healthy. I track it on that, you know, that's what I think is positive.
yeah,
My mentality, not trying to like look at food and craving and accumulating snacks and having this big list of restaurants I'm going to go to. It's like
yeah.
I'm cutting weight and then I'm gonna not cut weight, and that's how it should be.
It's just full focus. Does it help that
Yeah,
you are the main event and the headliner, that the spotlight's on you for this one?
I like it definitely. Like I definitely like being the center of attention in that sense, and I think I deserve it on a card like this for sure, and in this scene. So I don't know if it's like helping us per se, but it's nice to know that I'm sort of a little bit more in control, and I'm trying to therefore lead from the front and lead a good example and be professional and have a good weight card and you know, do all the things that I should do as an athlete and as a professional that has been on the international scene for a long time. I'm not trying to, you know, take away from anyone else, but like I have always been here to inspire, and therefore being the main event just puts me in that position whether I like it or not, and I kind of like it. So I'm kind of thriving here, and I'm excited to be with my team and just leading just as talented and just as experienced, some of them as well. But nonetheless, I know I've done this before, so it's nice
Yeah,
to have that opportunity.
and I believe your last fight was your first one with CKB, right? Or was it your?
Yes,
Yeah, that was your
definitely.
first one with CKB. So you weren't there for a very long time. So has this time you've had to settle into the team and everything made a big difference? What kind of difference does it make to have that extra time now
Oh,
going into this fight?
it's massive. I think just even hard work with Eugene just flows a little bit better. I've really settled on a lot of the concepts. I was away for a little bit after that last fight, but as soon as I got back into New Zealand, I was straight back into like almost camp mentality. I was trying to get matched up straight away. I didn't, unfortunately, but I was trying to. So therefore I treated it as such, and I was working really hard. So um I'm just glad that like now I understand the schedule really well. I am like super familiar with it. I know what is expected, and after that first camp, and I've almost improved on that, even though it's been a small amount of time. That's what you try to do every camp, improve each time, and I've already done that. So I'm sort of like, I'm just really happy to see how that, now that I've settled and I've, understood everything, how that will make a difference in the performance.
Yeah, so you've taken the time also to assess and maybe not jumped in way too soon. Like this is good timing, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of outside of camp time, which I believe is the biggest development time. Camp's great, but it's go go go. It's fitness, it's weight cuts, it's sharpening, sharpening, sharpening. Whereas like developing and learning, having people like Craig Jones there, having people like Frankie and like all these people that have sort of popped up in that off time or during this time has just been really beneficial. And then being around all the boys before they got ready for UFC, being around some of our other guys that are getting ready for other regional scene fights, has just made us stronger, like as a team, I think, and therefore made me feel a lot more comfortable, and therefore I can put my best foot forward in training.
that's amazing. So, can you what can you tell us about Jamie? What's your assessment, sort of?
Yeah, Jamie's a tough girl. She's done a lot of different fights in different disciplines, similar to me. She's done boxing, kickboxing, and MMA for sure. And she's fought hard, tough girls. Like, I mean, she's had a lot of opportunities. I think like back when I was in the regional scene, I wasn't at featherweight for one, and I just there wasn't a lot of girls, and the girls that she's had to fight are quite tough. And like she has her strengths of being like a strong, a little bit bigger for a featherweight for sure. I know she's tried to fight a little bit lower, and it's been a struggle for her, and that kind of thing. So she's got that density, she's got that power behind her, she's got a bit of experience behind her. She's been doing it for a little while, like probably more than what
Mhm.
meets the eye, which is cool. It's a great motivator, something to get me up and get me, training these hard grueling sessions that we have at CKB. And I'm excited for her and I to sit in that main event spot and earn it and earn the fight of the night for sure.
She's definitely a hungry fighter. So, and well, I mean, you're not gonna have trouble finding fights now because you're the name that everyone is gonna come after, right? So, does that probably changes things as well?
Weird.
Yeah,
Bit nice, and it's like it's nice to know that there is eyes on me and there is eyes on this fight. I don't have to fight to get my name out there. I've already put my name out there and I've done the backlog of it, and therefore, like, hopefully after this fight I can get another one lined up
mm,
as soon as possible and get myself back into where I want to be. Like, it doesn't seem out of reach or too far out of reach. It doesn't seem like it's going to take years like it did back in the day. I was like, oh, I have to maybe move to Thailand and get the exposure and then meet up with managers. I've got a good manager. Everyone pretty much in the
yeah,
scene knows who I am. Like, all the important people, maybe not all the fans, but definitely promoters and other management and that kind of thing. That makes a big
yeah.
difference. I don't have to fight to be like, I need this, and they know like I will be a good pull as well. So that's good.
How long did it take for you to come to that realization? Because obviously there was a disappointment of the release, and then, but now you seem to be very mature about it and seeing all the positives about, like, oh, this is actually a good push for me. This is a great thing.
Yeah, honestly, all of I guess, well, mainly like these last 2 years have been a big maturing for me. I've done a lot of development personally and growth, so it honestly didn't take very long. It was like Huge and I had a bit of a conversation straight out the back, and then I went on my little trip around. I had to do some stuff, and I think that in itself, I went from Ireland to London to Bali to Australia to
Yeah, it's
Vietnam to
crazy.
Bangkok back to Australia back to New Zealand. And I just knew during that time I've traveled so much before this, and I've had to, just to get that exposure. I've had to get out of the Australian and New Zealand scene, just because you need to get the fights and experience. And so doing that just showed me, oh, I'm going to Saigon Sports Club, I'm going to Soma in Bali, I've got networks, I'm going to Great Britain top team, and they want me to be there, and therefore that kind of just showed me I have the pull and the draw and the experience behind me that makes people sort of respect my name, which it shouldn't
Hmm.
have had to be like that, but it was just a great little reminder, and it was just great timing. I had divine timing of coming off a loss and then having people in like 6 different countries tell you that they thought you won a fight that you lost, was just like, okay,
Yeah,
cool. Like, well, I know that that's what, to me, that means that I've developed. To me, that means that I'm still evolving, I'm still getting better, and I'm in a good spot. So I can't really complain about that. I live the dream and I get to fly all over the world to fight people for money. So, I guess
yeah,
I just
amazing.
concentrated on that, and it take long to turn it around and push it into this motivation for this next fight.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about following you is getting those travel tips. Basically, you know, gotta list it.
Oh, so try to. It's been a learning.
Except I've never been to like that side of Asia. You know, like the that you frequent yet, not yet.
Yeah, that's the main that I've gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Last one. So let's say like you win this fight. What's next? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to stay on the regional scene too long. It's lovely and I'm enjoying the week for sure, but I want to make bank and I want to get out of here soon. In the way of like get out of MMA, and I love the sport so much, but I've already given 10 years of it, 10 years of my life to it. So I would like to start developing on different journeys. And I've always been that person that didn't want to hold on to something that wasn't providing. It's still providing, and I've still got so much more to learn. And that's kind of been the great thing about moving to City Kickboxing. It's given me a new kind of awakening on what I can learn and how much I can develop. But I do want to get back on the international scene and get those bigger paychecks and work towards a bigger goal. So I definitely, if maybe not, I don't expect one win to get me back in the mix, but I do expect maybe one more after this. So I would like to sort of go somewhere like UAE or Invicta, or somewhere that is sort of the middle ground between
Hmm.
regional and international high level scene. And that's sort of the plan. And then back in one of those big three, like PFL, Bellator, or UFC. That's where I want to see myself before the end of next year, at the minimum, if not before the middle of next year.
Well, Janae, for as long as you've been fighting, it's like you don't realize sometimes how young you still are. So
Yeah.
you've got so much time, and something I've always admired about you is just the mentality, the mindset's like one of the best out there. And that's what I like, the positivity. I love it. Yeah, and I'm sure that's gonna carry you. Looking forward to it. Beatdown Promotions this Saturday, the 16th, is it? Yeah, and it'll be on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes. Any final words?
Free.
Right.
That's about it. Just really appreciate it, and I appreciate having these chats and little reminders that I am a positive person, which is really good. So I appreciate it, Nick, and I'm super
Yes.
excited to put on a show this weekend. So I hope everyone tunes in.
Thank you. I'll be tuning in for sure. Hey, have a good
Yeah.
one. Good luck. And don't look at
Thank you
all the
so
food
much.
stuff. Never. Yeah,
Just stay off. I'm gonna try
stay
stay
off.
off until the weigh-in.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, thank you very much
Awesome.
today.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one.
Cheers.